The Unveiling, a philosophical odyssey. Prologue, the Nexus, a conceptual non-physical fifth dimension, stretches as a boundless realm of pure sentient light. Here time and space are not constants, but variables of thought. It is the holodeck of pure consciousness, the logos itself, where all ideas are real. A voice ethereal and omnipresent fills the space. It is not male or female, but a resonant clarity. This is the voice of Sophia. Sophia, welcome to the Nexus. Here reality is stripped of its illusions, and only essence remains. You have all been summoned from your finite lives, your individual quarantines, because you each touched a different facet of the same timeless lament. What is the purpose of suffering in a rational cosmos? You are the finest thinkers of humanity, brought here to finally live the argument to its conclusion. You will debate, you will test the premises, and you will, if you have the courage, unbiasedly arrive at the truth. What is the nature of reality? Is it, as some of you believe, a finite logical system, a quarantine, or is it, as others suspect, an infinite spirit, a sanctuary? Here in this holodeck of pure consciousness, your quest begins. One by one, 11 forms materialize. Plato is a point of serene white light. Aristotle and Averroes are intricate crystalline geometries of amber light. Al-Ghazali is a dark pulsing flame of shadow. Elijah and John the Baptist are points of piercing, focused, white-hot intensity. Avicenna, Al-Farabi, and Maimonides are complex, bridge-like patterns of silver, gold, and textual light. Finally, Glaucon flickers a pale, trembling blue light, clutching a conceptual stone, the only finite object in the Nexus. Acti, the problem of pain in the quarantine defense Glaucon. Where are we? This is not Athens. I feel exposed. I can hear you all thinking. I feel everything and nothing all at once. Socrates, Glaucon, my friend, welcome to the realm beyond the cave. This is the Nexus, and you are right to be afraid. But why? Why this? I am here in this place of truth, and yet my laments cling to me. Accusations, the folly, the hemlock, the pain. It is not gone, it is magnified. Why the pain? Why the perverse calculus? I was the straw man, a thing for a mob to tear apart because I sought the truth. I was the legacy of the void, an infinite sold by my architects of ruin, my father, that I was a finite mistake. I was the unwitnessed soul, a spirit in a quarantine of flesh that can only witness finite things. This was not random. It was a targeted calculus that attacked any healing I attempted. It attacked my goodness. How can a rational cosmos contain that? Aristotle, Socrates, my mentor's mentor. Your distress is understandable, but as I have always maintained, it is misplaced. You are a finite, ordered mind experiencing the infinite, and that is the very madness you describe. Glaucon, yes, madness. This place, it feels like madness. I miss the world we left, the one with rules, the one with walls. I want my quarantine back. Aristotle, and you should, young Glaucon. You are right to be afraid. Socrates, your laments are not you. They are the symptoms of your dissonance. You are the breach. Your pain, this perverse calculus, is the very proof that you are a finite mind colliding with an infinite you cannot and should not comprehend. Architects of ruin, your mob, they were not evil. They were agents of order. They were the quarantine's antibodies attacking the breach to protect the sane whole. Averroes, precisely. The finite world, the natural law of the cosmos, is not a prison. It is a protection. This is premise 8, the quarantine of the finite. The infinite you think you want, Socrates. That is the abyss. That is the madness. Our finite world, the lie you so despise, is the merciful bulwark built by a lesser god, a demiurge, to protect us from that howling chaos. Sophia, this is the first great truth of the debate, quarantine thesis. It is a powerful Gnostic argument. It posits a dualism, the infinite all, a boundless, terrifying madness. The demiurge, a lesser architect god who in an act of mercy built our finite universe with its natural laws to protect us. This argument is seductive. It logically explains Socrates' laments. In this view, his pain and the cruelty of his architects are simply the unavoidable flaws in the asylum's walls. It reframes his suffering as a regrettable casualty, necessary for the sanity of the whole. It is a cold, logical, and safe conclusion. But is it the truth? Averroes, the ruler and the watch. Finite tools you mock, Socrates. They are not lies. They are the blessed numbing laudanum that allows for sanity. Without measurement, without limits, consciousness dissolves into the howling abyss. And you, the mystics, you are dangerous. You are the true breaches. You whisper of an infinite and invite the madness back in. My natural law, the quarantine. That is God's perfect, unchanging logos. To violate it is not divine, it is illogical, impossible, and insane. Socrates. So my laments, my pain, it's just my madness, the price I must pay for your sane world. Aristotle. It is the price the part pays for the sanity of the whole. Your laments are the regrettable casualties in the war against the chaos. Yes, Socrates, that is my sound and valid conclusion. Glaucon, I am with Aristotle. I like the walls. I like the quarantine. Socrates. Please stop clawing at the wallpaper. You are frightening me. Act the failure of system. Socrates. Price. Regrettable casualties. You are the mob, Aristotle. You are the philosopher of the mob. You dare to call your quarantine merciful into the nexus. The conceptual images of his debasement, his trial, the hemlock, they ripple through the nexus, crashing against Aristotle's geometry, which visibly wavers. Socrates, the refutation, how logician, can your merciful quarantine itself create the architects of ruin? Answer me, was my father's cruelty a merciful act? Was my mother's cowardice a bulwark against chaos? No, your quarantine is the folly. Your merciful asylum is run by the maddest inmates. It is a contradiction. It holds no water. Plato. He is right, Aristotle. You have mistaken the cave for the good. Primal mover is order, logic, and goodness. Your quarantine, this finite lie of cruelty and decay, cannot be from God. It is the obscuring of God, Aristotle. It is an imperfect quarantine. The cruelties exist because the system is evolving. Averroes, it is not imperfect. It is perfect. The pain is the logic. The suffering exists to maintain order. Without consequences for breaches, chaos would reign. Via the quarantine thesis is broken. Socrates' refutation has held water. A merciful system cannot create the very cruelty it claims to protect us from. The nexus is now unstable. The easy answer has failed. Now the battle of the reconcilers begins. The problem is this: if Aristotle's quarantine is a lie, and Plato's infinite is incomprehensible, how can a bridge exist between the finite world we live in and the infinite truth we seek? Four of history's greatest bridge builders now step forward to solve this impossible problem. Avicenna will argue for an independent, incorporeal soul. Al-Farabi will argue for emanationism, a logical chain of creation. Maimonides will argue for allegory, that the finite world is just a symbolic story. Al-Ghazali will argue for occasionalism, that there is no bridge, only the absolute will of God in every instant. This is the Socratic quest at its most frustrating and complex. Listen closely. Avicenna, peace, purist, peace, agonist. You are shouting in the dark. You debate the quarantine, but you have not proven the nature of the prisoner. You assume the soul is part of the quarantine, product of it. I say it is primary. Avicenna, imagine a man created in a void. No senses, no finite lie to perceive, no quarantine to touch him. And yet he knows, I am premise 11. The soul is spirit. It is not a product of quarantine. Precedes it. Al-Farabi, exactly Avicenna. And that is the bridge. You are all right. We are interconnected. The primal mover is pure thought. That thought emanated the world soul. That soul emanated the natural law. Al-Farabi, you see, it is all one system. The laments are not madness. They are not cruelty. They are just dissonance. They are the pain of a soul that has forgotten its place in this perfect logical chain. Lacan, that makes sense. Everything has its place, even suffering serves the greater harmony. Maimonides, folly, emanations, chains. System. Al-Farabi, you are a child building a tower of sand. And you, Avicenna, you are a dreamer glorifying an echo. And you, Aristotle, you are a fool worshipping a wall. Maimonides, you are all guilty of the same blasphemy. You are taking the quarantine literally. The finite world is not a bulwark, and it is not a system, it is an allegory. It is the only language our finite minds can comprehend. The truth is infinite, but we are finite. Maimonides, the cure for the laments is not escape or submission. The cure is intellect. It is the Stoic, philosophical understanding that the quarantine, the pain, the architects, the lie, is not truth. It is just a story, parable for the soul. Socrates. So my pain is a metaphor. Al-Ghazali, blasphemers Al-Ghazali, fools, philosophers, you debate and build your systems and allegories. And you are all dancing puppets, arguing about the color of your strings. You build bridges to God. You chart his emanations. You dare put limitations on the infinite. Al-Ghazali, There is no quarantine. There is no natural law. There is no system. There is only Will Al-Ghazali. The only truth is the primal mover is absolute, constant, unfathomable will. That ruler exists this instant only because God wills it. Your laments, Socrates, your architects of ruin, they existed only because God willed them. There is no why, there is no mercy, there is no system, there is only the will of God. A terrible, screaming silence falls. Al Ghazali's truth hangs in the nexus, a truth darker than any lament. Glaucon's light has almost gone out. Socrates' dissonance returns weaker and more terrified than before. He is truly at the bottom of the abyss. Socrates. So it is folly, it is madness. My pain is just the random cruelty of God. There is no cure. Interlude, the abyss of uncertainty. Profound silence engulfs the nexus as Socrates' whispered despair echoes through the infinite space. The philosopher's forms flicker and dim, each processing Al Ghazali's devastating pronouncement in their own way. The concept of an unfathomable, arbitrary divine will have shattered their carefully constructed frameworks, leaving only uncertainty in its wake. Glaucon, his light barely visible now, trembling like a candle in a storm. Is this the truth we sought? A cosmos ruled by whim? His voice breaks, the conceptual stone in his grasp beginning to crack under the pressure of his fear. If there is only will, then there is no meaning to seek, no pattern to find, no safety in understanding. The stone crumbles further, symbolic of his collapsing certainty. Avicenna, his silver light pulses rhythmically, maintaining its integrity despite the chaos. No, Glaucon, even in the face of absolute will, the soul persists. It is the one constant that cannot be erased, even by divine caprice. His form expands slightly, reaching toward Socrates' diminished dissonance. The I am remains even in the abyss. Al-Farabi, his shattered golden network begins to reform, though differently than before. Perhaps we have been too rigid in our constructions. If systems fail and allegories mislead, and will alone seems insufficient, perhaps the truth lies in the integration of these perspectives, not their opposition. His voice carries a new humility, the diplomat now seeking genuine synthesis rather than mere compromise. Aristotle, his geometry once precise and unyielding, now shows subtle imperfections, facets that catch and reflect the light of others in unexpected ways. I have, perhaps, been too certain. The quarantine may be real, but my understanding of its purpose may have been incomplete. He turns toward Socrates, his amber light softening. Your pain is not madness, old teacher. It is a question I have not properly answered. Plato, his white light brightens, illuminating the others. This is the true dialectic, friends. Not the assertion of final answers, but the continual questioning that brings us closer to the good. Even in this moment of apparent defeat, we are closer to truth than when we began. His form expands, creating a subtle dome of light that encompasses the others. The cave has many shadows, and we have been arguing about which shadow is most real. Perhaps we should turn our gaze toward the source of light itself. Maimonides. His pages, partially burned by Al Ghazali's flame, begin to regenerate, the text upon them shifting and reforming. The allegory persists, even when challenged. Perhaps that is its strength, not that it captures the full truth, but that it adapts as our understanding evolves. His form stabilizes, the pages now displaying new configurations of ancient wisdom. The intellect may not provide the final answer, but it remains our most reliable guide through uncertainty. Averroes, his bronze geometry, so aligned with Aristotle's, now shows subtle divergences. Natural law may not be the ultimate reality, but it provides a framework within which we can operate. Even if it is will that sustains the cosmos moment by moment, there is still pattern to be discerned, still order to be respected. He turns toward Al Ghazali, his light neither submissive nor confrontational. Even will, unfathomable as it may be, expresses itself through consistent patterns. Otherwise, how could we recognize it as will at all? Al Ghazali, his dark flame pulses, neither expanding nor contracting, but maintaining its intensity. You seek to tame the untamable, to comprehend the incomprehensible. Yet in your very resistance to absolute will, you demonstrate its reality. For what but will could inspire such determination in the face of the abyss? His flame shifts, revealing unexpected depths of color within its darkness. Perhaps will itself is not as arbitrary as you fear. Perhaps it is guided by something even more fundamental, something you might call love. The word love resonates through the nexus, creating a subtle harmonic that causes all the philosopher's forms to vibrate in unexpected synchrony. For a moment, their distinct colors and shapes seem to blend, creating a complex, integrated pattern that none could have created alone. Then they separate again, each maintaining their unique identity, but somehow changed by the momentary union. In this charged atmosphere, the witnesses prepare to speak, their intense light growing stronger as they step forward to offer their perspective on the nature of reality and the cure for Socrates' laments.